Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are going to be reviewing the Oceans Trilogy on 4K from Warner Brothers. So I've had this for over a month, but I finally got done watching all three of the Oceans movies on 4K last night, and I decided to circle back and do this review, even though it's going to be a month late. I don't feel like I saw enough people talking about these 4Ks, and after I got done watching them, I'm like, you know what? These are actually worth talking about and doing a standalone video for, even if it's a month late. So before we get into it, though, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel. I've got all kinds of reviews of recent releases like The Crow and Killer Clowns from Outer Space on 4K, and Once Upon a Time in the West on 4K, Dune Part 2 on 4K. So all kinds of reviews on this channel. Go check them out. We do physical media content around here mostly every day. Hit the subscribe button. Also comment down below, guys, your thoughts on the Oceans movies. Did you get this 4K set? Did you opt to get the 4K Steelbooks? Because there's also that option as well. You can get all the individual movies in this trilogy in nice like 4K Steelbook form that are available on Amazon and also Groove as well. I think that they're still cheaper. I think they went down in price on Amazon to $29.99, but they were the cheapest on Groove for a while. But I've got this 3-pack right here that this is going for $55.99. So if you just want these movies on 4K, you're not concerned with the big elaborate packaging, the Steelbook packaging, this is a really good option because it's cheaper. It's almost half what all the Steelbooks would cost you to get these movies on 4K. They are really nice Steelbooks, so I've seen images of them, and they do look pretty damn awesome. But it's been a long time since I've seen the first one in this franchise, and I do like to talk about the movies themselves, guys. I'm going to talk about the movies themselves. We'll get into the transfer, also special features. I'll do a little unboxing of this set right here, show you the contents of the packaging. And, you know, talk about the audio as well. I like to talk about the movies first because I love movies and I like talking movies first and foremost. So let's talk about the trilogy of Oceans, what they're calling the Oceans Trilogy. I want to call it the Oceans 11 Trilogy. So I had only seen the first one in this franchise, and to be honest, like, it was back when it came out. So this was like DVD era was the last time I watched an Oceans movie, and I think I only watched it once. And I remember liking it. Like, I remember liking the movie, but for some reason, I never felt compelled to watch the second one, Ocean's 12. I think because when it came out, like, I was just getting into, like, critic reactions to movies. I was reading, like, reviews in newspapers and online, and they trashed all over the second one, Ocean's 12. I think it's got, like, a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. And then by the time it came back with Ocean's 13, I just wasn't interested anymore. So I never checked that one out either. So I had only seen the first one. But man, like, rewatching these movies, these are really a lot of fun. And I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed watching these. Now, I did space these out because, like I said, I've had this for over a month. I didn't want to burn myself out. I didn't want to get too deep into the ocean verse and to where I couldn't distinguish like one from the other. So I watched the first one like 3 weeks ago. I kind of just let that sit and marinate. And I was like, you know what? That's actually just a really good, solid, fun, energetic heist movie from the early 2000s with a great cast. Like, that's the thing that really props up these movies is the cast is just incredible. Like, you go back and you got George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon. To think about those three actors like in a movie together, like, is absolutely insane. To think about, but just everybody else that's in it. You got Casey Affleck's in these movies. Tweeter from Varsity Blues is in these movies. Just in a Don Cheadle, like, just an incredible cast, like, across the board. Andy Garcia's playing the villain, Julia Roberts. Just a super fun cast, very energetic, and just a fun, like, heist movie that has some good, like, has a good sense of humor, while also being serious as well, and kind of, you know, having a really good story that kind of wraps you into the emotional stakes of what's going on. So I enjoyed the first one a lot. Then I watched the second one a couple weeks later, and then a week later I finished with the third one. So I felt like I spaced them out enough to where I could enjoy them on their own. And I do think that the first one is the best. I think pound for pound, the first one just has the most to offer. I think it's the best of all the worlds because I think the second one has Ocean's 12 has just a little bit too much fun and just kind of goes a little too far out there. And the third one kind of just focuses all on the heist. Like, the third one is just all heist, Whereas the first one, I think, is just the perfect combination of like heist movie, fun comedy, also has a really good story along with it. Really good characters, like you understand their connections, you get their relationships. I think the cast just has incredible chemistry with each other, and I think you get all of that in the first one in Ocean's 11. I think it's the best of all worlds. Now, getting into the second one, Ocean's 12, that one having the poor critical reception that it had. I actually enjoyed that one a lot, and I was expecting that one to not be very good. But I actually really enjoyed Ocean's 12 for the most part. It gets very meta, but that precedent was actually set in Ocean's 11, like the opening, one of the opening scenes with Brad Pitt, and he's talking to like Topher Grace and a bunch of other actors, like they're playing themselves. So that precedent for like actors, like the real life actors, like playing themselves in the movie, like that was already set. But the stuff with the Julia Roberts stuff, which I had always heard about, is very ridiculous. Like in like the last 30 minutes or it's kind of like in the second act leading into the third act. I don't think that quite works, and I think they just take it too far. Like it's a bit that they just drag on for way too long. And I think the other thing that hurts the second one, Ocean's 12, is the fact that it's not set in Vegas. Like Vegas, like this movie, like these movies, like their identity is that Las Vegas setting. So to have a movie set, in Europe, in Amsterdam, like it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't feel like it fit. Like there is some like fun heist moments in the second one, but I just think the story is all over the place. It's way too convoluted. I love Catherine Zeta-Jones. I just love her. I've always loved Catherine Zeta-Jones since I was a kid. But the stuff involving her with Brad Pitt, I think that felt just like shoehorned into the movie. So I don't feel like that quite worked. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed Ocean's 12 for what it was. I just think that they just took the ridiculousness a little bit too far. I feel like Steven Soderbergh got a little bit too up his own butt for those movies, or for that movie in particular, which Steven Soderbergh wrote and directed all three of these movies. Now, Ocean's 13, I will say, I think the first movie is the best movie in this trilogy. But Ocean's 13 might be like my personal favorite moving forward. Like if I rewatch these, I might just latch on to Ocean's 13 even more because it has Al Pacino. It has my boy Al Pacino. I love Al Pacino. Like I'm really growing to love him even more as I'm checking out more of his filmography. And that was such a nice surprise because I had no idea Al Pacino was playing the villain in Ocean's 13. So the problem with Ocean's 13 though is, like I said, they don't really, like, there's a story there for sure, and I know it's a story, like, based in friendship and what friends do for each other and all that stuff, with them trying to help out the character of Ruben. I get all that, but I feel like the story takes a back seat, and the characters kind of take a back seat, and you don't really get that, like, interpersonal connection between everybody in the third one. It really just focuses, like, it goes all in on the heist, like, and the job. Like, that's the whole movie of Ocean's 13. Like, they get started right out of the gate. And it's almost like there's a story there, but it's almost like the story takes a back seat and the characters take a back seat. And it's like all business. Like Ocean's 13 is all business. And if you like that stuff, if you like the movies that just focus on the heist itself, like I think you'll like Ocean's 13 a lot. But I just like it because I like seeing Al Pacino, and I think he's just a fun character and like everything. And I think he plays a really good villain as well. And I'm a sucker for like former rivals that kind of team up with each other to take on a job or to go against someone else. So the fact that they brought Andy Garcia back to kind of team up with them to help them take down Al Pacino in this movie, I thought was really fun. And I like that. I like that they brought him back to do that. Yeah, I was just really taken aback by how much I enjoyed these movies, like all three of them, watching them over the course of the month. And I was like, when I got done with Ocean's 13, I was like, you know what? I just really enjoyed my time watching these, and I want to talk about them. So I wanted to do this review for you guys today. But getting into the actual like 4K picture quality here, the 4K discs themselves. Now, these are native 4K restorations, all films from 2001 to 2007. So I'm not exactly, I had to assume that these were all shot on film, but these have HDR on them, but they do not have Dolby Vision. But I thought all of these looked excellent. They're all on 100 gigabyte discs as well, and all the features are on these also. They do not have the Blu-rays in this set, but they're all on 100 gigabyte disc, and they look fantastic. Like this, like I said, I'm surprised that more people are not talking about these 4Ks, because they might be in the running for like some of the best 4Ks of the year. Just super sharp. The clarity is like freaking insane, out of this world. Like the first one and the third one in particular, because of that Vegas setting, because you have all those lights and stuff. I've talked about Casino before, it being one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen, like Showgirls as well. Like movies that take place in Vegas that just have all those colors and those lights, and they're set like kind of at night, and you just, that stuff just is brought to the forefront with that HDR. So I thought all those two movies in particular looked excellent. Ocean's 12 looked great too, but it didn't have that setting that was kind of working in its favor. But these were just super sharp, super pristine 4K restorations that have to be, I haven't seen them because I do not have the set, but have to be miles ahead of that Blu-ray collection that's out there. But I will say, guys, if you like the Oceans movies and you just want them in your collection, maybe you don't care about 4K as much, like I see the 3-pack of the Oceans movies at my Dollar General all the time for $7. So maybe you want to go to your local Dollar General, check it out, see if you can get these movies on physical media for $7. And I don't know how much they are on Amazon, but like if you don't care about 4K, you can get these movies on Blu-ray for very cheap at Dollar General. But the 4K, guys, I'm telling you, if you're into picture quality, if you're into UHD, the higher definition, the best possible way to watch your movies, then you have got to get these movies on 4K because they look absolutely outstanding. Like the up-close shots, the visuals, like Steven Soderbergh is a great director. Just all this stuff looks fantastic. But these movies on 4K, I cannot overstate it enough. Like this is in the running for best of the year. I thought these looked excellent on 4K, just so outstanding on 4K. I cannot say enough good things about these movies on 4K. Now, getting into the sound, guys, you do have the DTS HD master audio on all 3 of the movies, 5.1. You have French options, German options, Italian options, Spanish options, so plenty of options to watch these. And I don't think that these movies necessarily need a Dolby Atmos or anything like that. I think the 5.1 is fine. Maybe for Ocean's 13 because the earthquake stuff and the rumbling and stuff, maybe that would have sounded really good with the Dolby Atmos. But overall, guys, these sounded great. No issues with the sound here. Now, getting into the packaging, I really like the artwork here. That might be the best artwork that Warner Brothers has done in quite some time, to be honest. I think it's really cool artwork. But I'll show you the spine right there, and then we'll zoom in on the back. You got George and Brad and Matt. The synopsis right there. We'll get into the special features in a second. You got some of the specs and some of the other stuff, the ratings and everything at the bottom. Take it out of the slipcover. Same artwork on the actual case itself. Flip it to the back. You got the casting list for all 3 movies right there. Just a phenomenal cast in all of these movies. Absolutely phenomenal. You do have a digital code in here. You do have a digital code for all 3 movies, but getting into the actual discs, like I said, you only have the 4Ks here. So you have Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. Ocean's 13 feels very generic. I don't know why they didn't do like different colors for all these. Like they could have, red and, could have done some different colors, with it. You got the black for Ocean's 12 and just the silver for Ocean's 13. But I guess it works okay, guys. I guess it works. But we'll put the digital code back in. Now, get into the special features. There's some really good features here, and they're all on the 4K discs, like I said. But there's nothing new. There's nothing new in terms of commentaries or making ofs or interviews or anything like that. But the making ofs and the interviews that they have on here and the commentaries, because I think that all of these have a commentary with Steven Soderbergh. And I think the first one actually has 2 commentaries, and then all of these movies have making ofs, and they're all like 30 minutes. And I watched the one for Ocean's 11, and I watched the one for Ocean's 13, and they're really great. They're really great making ofs. So I don't know if you really needed to update those. And like the thing about these movies, guys, is like the stars in these movies are just like off the charts, like insane stars that are still working, most of them today. So I'm sure that it would have been really hard to get them to come back to do interviews and stuff. I get it. I usually complain about the lack of interviews in these releases and things like that, but I'm going to almost give Warner Brothers a pass here just because those past special features are so great. And they at least included those in this release. So yeah, just tons of good stuff, guys. Tons of deleted scenes and things like that. And I like I said, the making of for the third one is really good because they actually acknowledge like how the second one wasn't as well received, and the changes they wanted to make, and going back to Vegas and talking about the cast meeting Al Pacino for the first time. It's a really good making of. And like I said, all of these have commentaries as well. The first one has 2 commentaries. So there's plenty of special features to sink your teeth into here with the Oceans movie. So yeah, guys, in closing, I guess I just want to say that if you were on the fence about picking this up, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend picking these movies up. Maybe you've never seen them. I think they're all just super fun, just like heist adventure movies with a great cast that they all have great chemistry with each other. Like everybody in these movies has great chemistry, and in every movie, they bring in like new characters and even bigger stars. Like I said, I was just so surprised by Al Pacino in the third one. I thought that was great. So yeah, I highly recommend the movies, and the 4K transfers are just pristine, just off the charts good. Some of the best 4Ks that I've seen all year, for sure. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for checking out my review. I will be linking this down below in the description, as well as all the steelbooks as well, if you want to purchase those steelbook options. I'm pretty sure those are still available. So thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.